T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Coach on Fire Radio.
I love those tropical EDM vibes from my DJ and producer friend Chico. Welcome you guys to the Brave Healing Words That Change the World podcast. I'm Laura DeFranco, and my mission is to start a revolution of brave healers who are healing themselves and the world by sharing their stories. So on this podcast, I'm interested in having the conversations you crave, the ones that really create a ripple in the world. And today, I am super grateful to tell you guys that this podcast is being sponsored by Donnie Boivin and Jerry St. John. So you're going to find Donnie at thesuccesschamp.com, where you're going to find several really amazing, inspiring podcasts to listen to, you guys. Donnie has had me on the show a little while ago, and he is the real deal. He is funny and authentic, badass, and a really great interviewer, you guys. So you're going to find also a really nice Facebook group that he runs called Donnie's Success Champions. So look him up and see what he's all about. Donnie says, I believe we're all on a journey. Everything we do, our wins, losses, successes, and failures are all part of the adventure. These are the life lessons that shape us into who we become as we teach the world through our stories. Donnie's Success Champions are ordinary people, entrepreneurs, veterans, first responders, business owners, and visionaries that have a story to tell. These champions are pure badasses, plain and simple. And he invites us to enjoy their stories as we all continue on our journey. So today's show is also being sponsored by Jerry St. John, who is an independent paparazzi consultant. And you guys are going to find her at paparazziaccessories.com/Jewels from Jerry. And that's Jerry with a J, Jerri. She offers fabulous, affordable fashion accessories on Facebook Live by personalized consultation or private VIP shopping on Facebook. Jerry invites you to come check out her Facebook group and get in on the fun at bit.ly/VIP Jerry. Jerri. So she says we are changing lives $5 at a time. And y'all, you can't see my awesome Be Brave bracelet right now, but I just want to say that when I ordered these to give away as gifts for people signing up for my writing club, I didn't know how they would really look or feel because I was going by a picture. And I have to say they are way nicer than I expected. The quality and feel of these is spectacular. And all of the jewelry that I have seen and touched that Jerry has shared with me is so far like that. So check it out, you guys. So now I'm going to invite you all to take a deep breath with me and really arrive here in the moment, in your body. Let yourself feel the words today. Notice how a word or a tone or a topic feels inside of you. Feeling is healing. And today I'm welcoming Dylan Spradlin to the show. Dylan, you guys, helps parents who are feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and tired find peace in their family and confidence as parents. She has a background in prenatal and perinatal psychology, early development, and child and family therapy. She's worked as a trauma therapist, play therapist, and birth doula, and is currently a parent coach and play advocate who educates on the importance of play and self-directed education. She works with new and expecting parents as they transition to parenthood, as well as established families experiencing conflict, to reset their trajectory to a path of connection and joy. You're going to find her at dylanspradlin.com, DYLANANN SPRADLIN, dylanspradlin.com, and on her Facebook page which is called Transform Childhood. Dylan, I am excited to talk with you today about transforming childhood. OMG. So I have been parenting differently all along, and I'm in love with what you have to say about this. Tell me a little bit about the mission behind transforming childhood and why you moved away from the mental health work to focus on this.
Yeah, thanks for asking, and thanks for having me on the show. I moved away from mental health because I found it very limiting in how I could help. The need for, or the having parents bring their kids in and wanting me to fix them, or having to pathologize children and give them a diagnosis and then send them back out into the world, when really it was how we were thinking about children that was the problem. A lot of the times it wasn't really the children's problem. It was how we were parenting. It was the community-wide support. It was how we were schooling them. And so much of the time with so many of my clients, I wanted to be able to tell the parents, it's not your kid. It's their long school day and the fact that they don't get any time to just play, to just have some downtime, to just have free time. And not only that, but that our entire culture is inherently somewhat disrespectful to children. And so my mission is to really help support parents understanding that it is a really hard job and our society does not make it easy. And with a lot of compassion and empathy, to really hold space for them and give them opportunities and permission to take a step back and help them see where they can lift some of their burden and let it go, loosen their grip, and make it easier on them and easier on their kids.
You know, it took me way too long to get back to playing. And at 50 years old now, I think I'm finally getting it. So tell everybody how play, isn't that funny? Like finally getting back around to it. So tell everyone how play is healing for kids and families.
Well, it's the natural state of childhood, right? When we think about our own childhoods, you and I mean, I'm 50 also, and I think back to my own childhood when we get home from school, and maybe there's homework, maybe there's not, but there's certainly not hours of it. And we go outside to play, or on weekends we do our chores, and then we have the rest of the day free, and we don't check in with our parents unless we're hungry, or we skin our knee and need a Band-Aid. And there were so many kids to play with, and there was things to do, and there weren't a lot of screens to distract us, right? And that was childhood. That was outside in nature with things and toys and other kids. And I think that's what's natural, and that's what's essential in children's development. And why it's healing is because kids are not getting that. Our culture is so task-oriented and result-oriented and outcome-oriented that we're focused on achievement and evaluation and comparison in the schools and in all the programs that they're signed up for, sports activities, dance clubs, art programs, all the things that they have to do because parents both work and they have to fill those couple of hours after school. But all the time they're supervised and they're evaluated. And so playing lets them relax and lets them pay attention to who they are and how they feel in their body without somebody telling them if they're doing it well or if they're good enough or if they need to do better. And so it opens up the doors for expressing themselves and tapping into their own creativity and finding out who they are all by themselves, just who they are, what they can do, navigating their own sense of where they are in space. You know, I give this example a lot. Like if you're out in nature and you don't have an adult telling you to be careful, you have to be the one to decide if you're going to walk across that log, across the ravine. You have to pay attention to how your body feels if you're ready to do that or not.
You just gave me a total aha about this, which is awesome. And it was the piece you said about when it's supervised, it always feels like we're being there, as a kid, always evaluated. Oh my God. I don't know why that word just stuck with me right now when you said it, but that is so true. And it feels stressful. It makes my body cringe even when you talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the kids who are really good in school and love school, that being evaluated. There's a really great article by a woman named Carol Black, and I don't know much about Carol Black, but I love her article, and it's all about the evaluative gaze of school. And even the kids who do well and love school, they are still being evaluated. And when you evaluate and when you give your opinion to a child, you take something away. There's an example, and I don't remember who said it, or where the quote came from, but it was an example of a toddler playing with a toy and an adult behind them, and they got a piece. Like the toddler figured out a piece that fit into the toy some way and succeeded at the toy. And the adult said, "Good job." And the toddler turned around and looked at the adult with this look was like, "Who asked you?" And then walked away from the toy. Like gave up, like it's not mine anymore. You just told me your opinion that wasn't asked for, and it wasn't mine anymore.
Wow.
And so we take away their own discovery, and it's so key. It's so important, and I really want to communicate that to people, that's our entire, like, children do not get a break from that.
Oh my gosh. So I remember back in the day, right? So doing things like jumping out of trees to see if I could fly, rolling down mountainsides on cardboard boxes, turning over rocks and making the lizards and scorpions and salamanders my pets, right? And so we did all of that without cell phones. And we did it like so far away from the house that, so imagine, right? Like, I think our generation took a lot of risks in our play. And I think our parents were actually a lot more relaxed about that. And so tell me more about that specifically. Like, why do we need to get back to letting our kids take more risks?
Well, taking risks actually, so first I want to start with there's a difference between risks and hazards. Okay? So if you're letting kids play in a bunch of construction zone where there's nails sticking out of boards and the kids aren't aware of that, those are hazards. And, we don't necessarily want that. We don't want dangers that are unbeknownst to the children, right? We want to have hazard-free play areas. But taking risks where you're in charge of what your body is doing and you're taking a risk with consciousness, that's really good for kids because they need to decide what they can and can't do. They need to figure it out, and they need to learn what it means when they go past your limit. If you get hurt, we're supposed to get hurt sometimes. Our bodies are made to heal. We have to get skin knees. We're not supposed to grow up and be completely in the same pristine condition that we were when we were born. We get skin knees. We get broken bones. We get, knocked around a bit. But we have to experience those moments where we challenge ourselves and overcome obstacles, because that builds confidence and that builds self-esteem. And I think one of the misconceptions is today parents are thinking their kids come in with self-esteem and we need to protect it. We need to make sure they never lose it. So we need to protect them from disappointment and harm and never failing, because if they fail, they'll lose their self-esteem. And that's actually the opposite. So we don't come in with self-esteem. We might come in with self-worth, and we get that by being told we're worthy, by being cared for as an infant. But self-esteem is what we get when we overcome obstacles successfully, when we're faced with challenges and we overcome them. So we don't get self-esteem if we never get to overcome challenges. So if you don't let your child make mistakes or come up against challenges and face them on their own, and they never get those challenges, they grow up not knowing that they can. And that sense of, I don't know if I can do anything. I don't know if I can do those hard things. I've never had to do a hard thing. I don't think I'm good enough. And then they get to college and they're faced with all sorts of hard things. And they don't know how to cope, right? So, or they don't go to college, they just get a job, and the boss expects them to work hard, and they don't know how to be